Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pod TV. I am your host today. We are live at Sierra Week by S&P Global, and we have with us today one of our sponsors, Sanki Global, and I'd like to introduce the young lady who's been working with us, Christine Duque.
Hi,
Christina,
Kimberly.
hi, how are you doing, Christina?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. You know, it takes a team, doesn't it?
Of course, definitely.
I mean, we have to work together to make all of this happen. It's so exciting here. We get to meet some of the world leaders in oil, gas, and energy, but we can't do this without our sponsors. And I would like to introduce the Sanki Global CEO, Jose
Arvita.
Arvita. Thank you. My apologies. Usually I have this down. But welcome. How are you doing, Jose?
Very good, Kimberly. Thank you. And hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. We are so excited to be part of the show.
Oh, so Jose, tell us a little bit about Sanki and about yourself first. Let's start about you. How did you get started in this industry?
Well, we have been in the health and wellness industry for more than 30 years up to now. And I have been always like an athlete per se. I love to do sports in all kind of different ways, different types. And, since young age, I was like looking for something that really fulfill my mission and the vision that we have in this world, and how can we contribute with people and make them being healthier. So the journey started a long time ago when we decided to go into this movement of health and wellness, and the life has been very well with us, and they allowed us to meet one of the most well-renowned scientific people in the world, and that's how this company Sanki did start 14 years ago. So we have been always in this mission, and now we're very excited to be here in the United States, and we can consider ourselves a global company. And we did start this 14 years ago, but everything started before. So one of our partners, he did start this investigation with the centenarian people in the island of Okinawa for 4 years. So he developed over 3,200 clinical trials about this new technology that we developed. And that's what get me very excited, because imagine that you can be the only company or the only lab in the world that has been able to produce something so valuable for the human beings and related to health and wellness as postbiotics. So maybe it's a weird word that we can say today, but postbiotics is what we do, and we have been the first lab in the world that has been able to combine nanotechnology and biotechnology. So this is a little bit of how we're doing the things and why I get involved into this industry. I'm a sport lover, health and wellness lover, and also I like very much to see people achieving their life dreams and feeling fulfilled with this natural energy every day. Talking about energy, then this week of energy. So I think that it's very important, the energy that we have outside, but it's most importantly the energy that we have inside of us.
You are so right about that. I mean, I have a program that we started a while back, and it's about health, physical health, mental health, and wealth health, fitness. And because you need all three to sustain, right? And basically a lot of the same disciplines. What are some of the things that you find more interesting for yourself in the job that you do?
Well, one of the things that I find more interesting is really after people using our technology, how they can start reducing their metabolic age. I think that we have been going to in the opposite side as many other industries are going, because most of the time we are trying to find a problem and try to solve that specific problem, and that's how most of the business are created. Like let me find a need in the market, and let me find a problem that I can solve and bring some value into the market with this solution. But we did totally the opposite. That's why we're driving our company in the blue ocean strategy, and which means that we are going to the other side, where we did study the superhumans in this earth, and what we did basically is copycat their epigenetics and make a technology so we can't give this epigenetic or these metabolites or nanobiotechnology products to everyone. So imagine the best example that I use most of the time is imagine that you go to the super heroes and then you take their powers, and now you can give this power to everyone. So now everybody can be a superhuman. So the most satisfaction or the satisfactory process that we can have in this journey is to see how people is getting younger as they are aging. So, but not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and inside the balance. And I call this like the brightness in their eyes. When people start having this brightness in their eyes, and they want to achieve different things, and they have the natural energy to achieve it. So those are the things that bring me more satisfaction. And of course, through this journey, after 14 years of developing this technology and putting this into the market in people's hands, this has been very, how want to say, very fulfilled for us to see how people has been improving their lives through the time. And we can see how people that start taking our products 14 years ago, they're still taking our products, and now they feel better than ever.
And that's the key right there, is also preventive, right? It's not just about curing some of the little problems or problems that you have, but it's also just being preventive. I'm here holding one of your hydration bottles that with the solutions in here, but you keep talking about technology and all of this, and I want to understand a little bit more, because when I think of health, I don't always think of technology. And that's just very interesting to me, how you've incorporated the use of technology into our ways of health. Explain a little more detail how that works.
Yeah, well, it's in Sanki we consider ourselves a innovation company, and we call Sanki the longevity company, and we consider us in the innovation standard in the innovation industry, because we have been the first one and the only one that has been able to develop this type of technology. But to talk a little bit about the technology is quite very interesting. That I mean, in so many industries we're using, or we have been here in the world, nanotechnology, which is the science of making everything smaller, more productive, more efficient. And that's what we did. We create these nanospheres. We create a patent system that is called ADS, Advanced Delivery System. And imagine that we use these biology elements, or these metabolites or postbiotics, and we encapsulate them in a nanosphere. So imagine a nanosphere is like a smaller than a bacteria, smaller than a virus. So we can take these metabolites, these life entities, and put it inside of a nanosphere, which we control where it's going to be delivered in the body. So with this technology, I mean, we have reactors, we have different things to combine these things and to put the metabolites inside of the nanospheres, so we can deliver these metabolites or these nanospheres in different parts of the body. So it's not just about delivering, it's how the body is going to be able to utilize each one of the elements that we're giving to you. Is the absorption, is the bioavailability, which is also a very key word here. And bioavailability means the ability that your body has to absorb the nutrients, or recognize them, absorb them, and utilize them. So with this technology, or this fermentation process that we use by using bacteria, we create these metabolites, we encapsulate them into the nanosphere, and then from the nanosphere we delivered, for example, the product that you have right now in your hands, the green one, it goes directly to the mitochondria of the body. So we can deliver these metabolites or postbiotics inside of each one of the mitochondria in your body. And the technology allowed us to do this in less than 10 minutes. So this is something fascinated. And when I hear this for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, too many keywords for me, too many high-level words, like a nanotechnology, microbiome, a mitochondria, a nanosphere, metabolite, postbiotic, all of these type of things combined. But at the end, the result is that we can deliver a very important life element inside of each one of your mitochondria, which are the energy producers in our body.
So when this is what's so cool. We are at an oil, gas, and energy conference, but we're actually talking about energy for our body, which is just as important as the energy that we use outside. You're talking about recharging our bodies, basically, like, what you're talking about. And you could do this in 10 minutes. It's like charging up my phone. My phone doesn't even charge up that fast. So this is very interesting to me, how you've incorporated this into the science part of it, so that we can absorb all of that in 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Wow. So Christina, how did you get?
I got into Sanki, I want to say almost 5 years ago, around the pandemic. And at the time I had a background managing bars and nightclubs and restaurants. And I was, in that industry for about 15 years. And then the pandemic happened, so I didn't really know what was going to happen with the jobs, and everything shut down, and I was out of work, I want to say, for about 8 months. So I decided to pivot out of that industry and into a new one. And I figured with, a health crisis going on in the world, the best way for me to go was into health and wellness. So I ended up at Sanki Global, and the products are just phenomenal. And I love hearing Jose speak about them because he's a little more scientific than I am. But like he was saying before, they've been studying these products for over 40 years. Our Japanese scientist went into Okinawa, Japan, which is considered a blue zone. And a blue zone are places in the world where people live the longest and have the best quality of life. So he studied these centenarian people, who are people who live to be 100 years old and beyond. And they developed 4 products that they continue innovating on. Like, they've never changed the products. And they're 100% all natural. And as Jose was saying, we have technology called advanced delivery that allows you to take those ingredients and target them directly into the cells of the body.
And that is just so fascinating. You're so healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, you stay on top of this, and she loves her job. I mean, that's the first thing I noticed about you is how much you really enjoy working for Sanki. I mean, she just has such a passion for it. And, how many employees do you have at Sanki, Jose?
Well, it's a very large organization because we have a vertical integration. One of the things that we decided to do is to really control all the value chain, all the supply chain, So one of the most fascinating things that we found in Sanki is that we owned the largest millennial olive trees in the world in Alicante, Spain, which means trees that at least are 1,000 years old. And the oldest one that we have is 2,600 years old. So imagine buying these trees from different parts of the world that at least are 1,000 years old and then move it to Spain. The same thing that we are doing in France with rosemary. The same thing we're doing in Tokyo with green tea plantations. And the same thing we're doing in Mexico with the Choconustlo area for the cacao trees. So we are in partnership with the oldest cacao trees in the world. So as you can imagine, we are not using the trees per se, we're using the bacteria that are produced by this type of tree. So we can with this fermentation process to emulate the nanotechnology that we were talking about and produce these postbiotics. So in this large organization, we own also our labs in Japan, in Tokyo, in Vivo Labs, and then we have different offices and headquarters in different countries: Colombia, Peru, Mexico, United States, here in Vegas. We also are expanding to Spain right now. Our labs in Tokyo, offices in Dubai. So it's a large organization that we have been building through the years, but also there's a lot of partnerships or joint ventures, strategic joint ventures that we have been creating with different areas and different science areas or different technology areas. So we can really contribute to create this big foundation to generate the best epigenetic of the best nanotechnology products in the world. So it's a large organization. It's very difficult to tell how many people is working right now, but in the base of Sanki, just for the commercialization and just the process, we are over 700 people working in Sanki right now. But that extends to so many other ways and so many areas because we are working with scientific people all the time. And like I say, we're in the innovation industry. So the most important thing in innovation is to keep innovating. And in order to do that, we need to keep finding the right talent, the right people, the right organizations around the world, and the right foundations, institutions, so we can keep contributing with the market and keep adding value.
Well, I think it's just absolutely fascinating what you guys have pulled together. Like you said, you do a lot of research. A lot of research is done on this. When you talk about bacteria, inside of me, I just go, ooh. But we know that that's what actually works at healing our body, right?
That's correct. I mean, we need to know that we have, people call it good bacteria and bad bacteria, but that doesn't exist. It's not such as that. The most important thing we need to understand is that we have powerful or strong bacteria and weak bacteria. The same thing with different elements in Earth. We have powerful semiconductors and we have low semiconductors. We have high level energy conductors, low energy conductors. You can have gold as a conductor, you can have copper, you can have different elements to just send energy to different places, I'm going to say. But at the end, the variation is going to be significant if you want to be high end, if you want to be producing really high end artificial intelligence, that right now is a great topic. If you want to create this type of thing, you need certain type of elements so you can have the highest quality products or microchips to produce this type of intelligence. So in the same thing, in the same way is what we're doing. So we're using just the high-end bacteria, the most powerful bacteria, the queen of the bacteria, because we need to understand that our body is fully of bacteria. So since day one, since we were like at the first cell, I'm going to say, we start making bacteria inside of us. And then the microbiome ecosystem, which is the bacteria that we have in our gut, is a full colony of bacteria. It's a full ecosystem of bacteria. And this is one of the biggest problems that we have in this side of the world, that we are not having the right bacteria in our system, in our body. And that's why people use this type of expression like my metabolism is slow, or I'm not metabolizing this type of food, or I feel low, or I feel congested, or I feel this, I feel that, I don't have a good gut feeling. I love that phrase, because it's about gut, how your bacteria are feeling, and how your colony and your ecosystem of what we call in science the microbiome ecosystem, or the microbiota, it plays a key role in our health. But also, as you said, in order to recover, to restore, to replenish, to balance everything that we are having, and also to have a good digestion. But also we have bacteria in every side of our body. We have bacteria outside of in our hands, in our face, everything. Somebody told me one day that we are more bacteria than humans.
Kind of scary.
Scary, yeah.
I went to a NASA project the other day, and we saw, like how many ants are in the world versus humans, and things like that. Now you got me thinking about the bacteria, because that's even smaller than the ant, and there's more of that that makes up the world. And I'm going to have to ask them about that. Maybe we can connect the two of you to talk about how all of that breaks down. Because NASA isn't just about space, it's about the elements that unite us all universally. So you've got this universal language that I think is just fabulous, and it's called health, right? Health and fitness. It's not just about beauty, it's about just staying healthy. And the healthier you are, the better you feel, and the better you feel, the more you smile and you glow. But we're talking about for adults. Is there something that you do for children?
Well, we do. We have different foundations in the company, in the organization, and we for example, we do something for children a couple of years ago that we were donating over $1 million in product for people in need. And then sometimes we do charity runs in different areas, in different places. And I think that the most important thing that we do for kids is to educate them in order to be healthy, in order to establish a good path in life, so they can really take the right decisions in terms of habits, what things they need to eat, how they need to combine the things, how can they keep balance their life. Because now more than ever, is very sad to say this, but one of a third kid is having obesity, is having a situation, a cardiovascular situation. Is the first time in years, in decades, that maybe the parents are going to be surviving their kids. And so that's very sad, because
You don't want to do that.
Actually, I want to branch off of what Jose said really quick now that we're talking about children. One of our products is called Sanki, and it actually increases protein absorption by 20%. So that's huge for malnourished parts of the world, whether you're an adult or a child. But definitely for people who are struggling with that in different parts of the world, the Hisaki is a great product. And we've been involved in many organizations, like Jose was saying, where we definitely contribute to that.
So we're talking about where you're talking about for younger people, and is it a drink as well with the nutrition?
Yeah, so that's a protein powder, but all 4 of our products you drink, and children are able to consume them as well. We tend to say maybe 3 years old and older, just to be safe, but it is good for children as well.
So let's talk about this too as well, because we're talking about hydrating, which I personally have been doing some research on and don't think we do enough of. I suffered from severe PTSD after my husband died, and it was extremely bad. And somebody convinced me to go get hydrated monthly. And so I started doing that. My PTSD just went away. And it wasn't because of time, because the doctors kept saying you'll eventually get over it, and I wasn't. But when I did the hydration, it really helped me get over the problems. And I think that hydration is part of our brain too, right? It's not just the organs in the body; that the main organ is the brain. But when you're talking about hydrating, what is the hydration type ratio with your nutritional powder that you mix?
So the signature product that you're drinking over there, Belage, is actually, that's one of the key benefits of the Belage. It's going to hydrate you. It's going to give you energy. And all of the products operate from a cellular level. So our body is made up of cells. So when you heal the cell, the body has the potential to heal itself.
Oh, wow. She sounds like a doctor already.
I mean, it's like, I love my job, but it's easy to love something you believe in.
Right. And and it's all about health. And it's all about the educating of it too. You need to understand what your body needs in order to feed it the right things, just like you need to understand what your brain needs so that you can feed it. I just feel like that there's a huge collaboration here with what we've been doing with financial literacy for children. And I've wanted to add the health aspect to it, not just the wealth, because if you don't have health, you're going to spend all your wealth getting healthy,
taking care of your health. Absolutely.
So there's a little circle here going on, that we need to think about. And I used to tell people that when you're feeding your piggy bank, those green dollars are the best thing for the piggy. Well, the greens are the best thing for us too, right? But we're also just talking about hydrating with nutritional value, because we don't get enough.
Yes.
On a daily basis.
So to break down all 4 products for the viewers who don't know, so like I said, Belage, our signature product, yes, so I have a little sample pack here. You're going to open that. But Belage is going to go ahead and hydrate you. We have another product called Inner 7 that we source from the Inner Ocean in Japan. And that one is super rich in magnesium, which is the second element, the most abundant element in the human body. And then we have a Kernui Fire, which is the red packet you have in here. And this one's more of a detox. So you take it as a hot tea before
Sorry,
you go to bed. You got
it's little bitty bags here.
Let me see. So this one here is Kernui Fire. And this one you drink as a hot tea before bed, and it detoxes you. So it's going to burn up unwanted carbs, sugars, fat.
Okay.
And then the protein powder. Like I said, that
For
one
the day.
increases. Yeah, so that one you'll drink midday, maybe before a workout. Jose could talk a little more about that because he loves the gym.
All right. So is this like a sample packet that you give to new users? Let's talk about that. How can they get this? How do people find you and order the product?
You could go ahead to besanki.com. So besanki.com, and you'll be able to order them right off there. besanki, SANKI.com.
There you go. besanki.com, everyone. Let's try to get ourselves healthy and get out there and feed yourself something that's going to help your body. And we're not just talking about reverse aging or anti-aging. We're talking about just healing those cells that have broken down in our body and making yourself healthier first. And that's what we want to do. Are you okay there? It's hard
trying to fix this camera.
It's hard to do that. So Jose, if you could say anything, we're going to wrap here in a minute, but if you could say anything to the world about your favorite experience with coming to Sanki Global, because I'm sure you've worked in other businesses, what would it be?
Well, I'm going to tell you that I was impacted myself when I did my first metabolic age test 14 years ago. And I did discover that I was older in my inside than my physical age. So that was a shock for me because I was always a sport guy doing athleticism, every type of discipline. So it was a shock for me to see that internally I was aging faster than my physical age. that I was over 10 years older than my physical age. So that's something that really impacted me. And then in Sanki, we use technology, as we were explaining, and we have a device that we call the microscanner, where we can see your capillaries, we can see your small vessels in your body, and we can see, and that's what I saw back then, how my microcirculation was blocked, how my oxidative stress was working in a very bad way for me. And I understood that, of course, athletes has a rapid oxidation. When you are aging, you have rapid oxidation. So there's so many things that happen with oxidation or oxidative stress in our body. But my shock was to see that my capillaries was not there, that I just have the tips of the capillaries, that we were not able to see a lot of circulation right there. So I said, oh my gosh, I'm dying very fast. So, you know,
No, we're not like, but it's true. I mean, the realization just
true. If you don't have blood circulating in your body, you cannot, you will start developing a chronodegeneration in your body. We know that all the chronodegeneration diseases happens because we start developing inflammation, and that inflammation produces lack of microcirculation, and then it's a chronodegeneration cycle. And the more inflammation that we get, less microcirculation we have, and then suddenly we have chronic inflammation. And when we have chronic inflammation, then we're developing a very bad disease. But anyway, the point is that when I saw that, and then I start taking the products, and I start seeing how my capillaries in 15 to 20 minutes start bumping blood again, and I start seeing the movement inside of me, because that's a wow experience. Everybody has been seeing an X-ray or an MRI, but it's just a picture. Doesn't have life. It's not moving, so you can see your body inside of you, but it's just static. But when you use this technology to see your vessels, your blood flowing, and you see the inflammation and the circulation that you have, and suddenly you were in certain point and you take a product, and then 15 minutes later, you are showing life and you can see your own life inside of you moving. And then after 14 years, I can tell that in 14 years after that, I have been reversing that age in more than 12 years. So not just I adjust my metabolic internal age with my physical age, but then I keep aging physically, but I keep getting younger in the inside. So when you do this type of test or metabolic age and how old you are from the inside, how rapidly you are aging. So now we are just getting younger in the inside as long as we are aging in the outside. So that has been the most fascinating process. I have never imagined when I was young that something like that could happen, like the fount of youth will be found. And we saw so many movies and cartoons when I was a kid for people, pirates and explorers and adventurers looking for this fount of youth. And I think that Dr. Diaz, he found it, and he developed a technology that we can all use that is going to not just help us at a cellular level, at the mitochondrial level, in the microbiome, in the microbiota, in the mineral way, but also is going to help us to age, but at the same time, continue being young in the inside.
Well, you know what? You said something. You can't always judge a book by its cover, right? Just because we think we look healthy or we feel healthy doesn't mean we are healthy inside. And you mentioned something else that I found very interesting that I've done a lot of research on is the oxygen in our body. We need to keep that oxygen level up, and people don't understand the oxygen level in your bloodstream. My husband died of a massive heart attack, looked very healthy on the outside. He actually had some scanning done and said he was just fine. And so we ignored the little signs. But what I learned about it, the reason why he really died wasn't just the heart attack, it was the fact that the oxygen had shut off to his brain. It stopped flowing in the blood. So do some research on it. I've learned that beetroot is a good additive for that. But and there's a thing called your organs can go ischemic. And that's another thing when your oxygen level goes low in your bloodstream, your organs will go ischemic. And ischemic, that means that they're dying. So there's a lot that goes on inside. Just because you look fine on the outside doesn't mean you are. And I mean, I want to get that test done that you were talking about because I feel great. But, you know, now you're making me wonder. But meanwhile, until then, everybody, check out B. Sanki and check out some of the samples that they have and see if you can feel better in 10 minutes. Maybe you can get this test done that he's talking about. and we can all become a lot more healthier, not just wealthier, but keep your energy up. We're the Energy Show. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon. Take care.